Step 1, we've always got to state the hypothesis. Now, for these kind of hypotheses, when you're comparing two samples for a t-test, what you need to do is you need to state the null hypothesis that mu1 is equal to mu2. If you think you're going to forget this, then just copy it down because this is always the same thing. Hypothesis 0, or the null hypothesis, is mu1 equals mu2. Now for hypothesis 1, we've put mu1 is less than mu2. Now this has got a variety of options it could possibly be. Mu1 less than mu2, mu1 bigger than mu2, or mu1 not equal to mu2. And the reason why we go for the option on the screen rather than another option, let's have a look at another option. Another option would be that mu1 is bigger than mu2. This option is as a result of the last part of the question. Determine whether the new medication is better than the old medication. So the way we would do this would be to say that the new medication, which is mu2, because it's the second thing in the table, is better, therefore it's got a bigger number associated with mu1. And the reason why we set it up like this is because it's saying that this table is actually showing us how effective it is. So the bigger the mean, the more effective the medicine's going to be. So that's quite a complicated thought process to set up this inequality. But if you weren't sure, I would just guess one of these two, or obviously you have the third option where they're not equal to each other. And in this instance, I would guess probably this second one here, which is the correct one, or this one here, and you've got 50% chance of getting it right, because we know it's going to be an inequality because it says better. So we're going to choose either this inequality sign or this inequality sign. So that's step 1. Now let's proceed with the problem. Step 2, like before, nice and simple. We're going to state the significance level. The significance level is clearly going to be 5%, so we're going to convert 5% to a decimal, which is 0.05. Step 3, we now need to put the information into the calculator. So as before, we are going to find the correct menu. We want to do a test, but we want to do a 2-sample t-test, so we press number 4. Now, in this example, rather than being given data, data means you're given lots of numbers. So let's say for 5 participants, they were 1, 2, 4, 6 and 7. That would be called data. Now this is called stats because the information is an analysis of the data. So that's why we select stats. We then want to analyse list 1 initially, and then list 2. We want to say whether mu2 is smaller or bigger, and we always write yes for pooled. Before we go on to calculating this, we need to make sure we edit the lists. So let's have a look. If the data was listed out as before, like 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, you'd edit list 1 to list 2 in this manner. However, because we've got data, I needed to change the right tab to data. I'll show you what I mean now, because this question is actually going to be quite straightforward. So we change it from data to stats, press enter, and then we just copy the data from the table. And this kind of data is referred to as stats because it's an analysis of the original data. So we're going to have for mean 1, 0.351. We're going to have standard deviation is 0.058. The number in the sample, well, the first sample was 15, so there's 15 patients in the sample, so we need to change that to 15. mu2 is 0.497, that's the second mean, and then the second standard deviation, or SX, is 0.077. Sample size is slightly different at 17. And we've decided from the previous question and from my discussion that mu1 is smaller than mu2. So this matches with this inequality, so we're going to select this one here, enter, pooled, yes, calculate. Excellent. So as we've got on this slideshow here, we have the data matching up together, which is excellent. So with this next thing, we need to decide what our next steps are going to be. So the first thing you need to write down is the test statistic. So you just copy down t, and they've rounded it to 2 decimal places. I would round it to a suitable number of decimal places and also copy it from the screen. And then you're also going to write down the p-value. The p-value is just the p number here. What you really need to do is make sure you rewrite it in standard form. So remember, e minus 7 means 10 to the power of minus 7. All quite straightforward so far. Now this is the analysis bit, which is the bit which is a bit more tricky. The p-value is a less than 0.05. So this means because the p-value is less than the significance level, we reject HO. If it was greater, we'd accept HO. And then we write a sentence saying, because we're going to accept H1, go back to the original idea here, our H1 was that the new medication is better than the original one. HO is that there's no difference. So if you memorize these sentences, you can rehash them in your final sentence. So your final sentence is, because we have accepted H1, we conclude the new medication is better than the old medication. So I think this is really quite straightforward. A little bit more steps to do, but once you understand how this works, it's really quite a normal process in the things you need to do in comparison to the other topics. Good luck and ask me any questions if you have any.